Okay, so here we are trying to figure out how many unit tiles will go in this missing space to complete the square. And so first I wanted to start by giving you like a visual. We have x squared plus the 8x. And we took those 8x's and we kind of split them in half. Remember? So we take them, we split them in half. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that's why we got 4 and 4. And then what we have to multiply to get all these little 1 tiles is we would multiply 4 by 4. So you can almost imagine creating a grid here, a 4 by 4 grid, which would in turn complete the square. Okay, so we're going to get 4 by 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So the number here would be 16. You could write plus 16. So this would be our new expression. And then we want to rewrite that in factored form. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could create the box and diamond just as a reminder as kind of where this is coming. And then I'll give you a shortcut. So we have our x squared, our 16. We multiply those to the top, goes to the bottom. So we know the numbers that multiply to 16 and add to 8 would be 4 and 4. And we know it got to be the same number because we want to create a perfect square. And you can almost see a visual. Okay, well, this is really 4x. Okay, this is 4x. Great. Common factor here is x. Common factor here is x. X plus 4 and x plus 4. Okay. So when you are creating a perfect square or factoring it, we get x plus 4 times x plus 4. But if we're writing it as a perfect square, we are going to write it as x plus 4 in parentheses squared. Okay. Now the number that goes here in your perfect square is going to be half of whatever b is. Okay, so whatever your middle number is, you're taking that, you're dividing it by 2. That's going to be the value that goes into your perfect square. So let's just do a for example. Okay, this is not on your practice test, but another for example. Let's say I had x squared plus, let's do 30x. And we want to know, okay, well, what number would go here? So you'd almost imagine, okay, I have the x squared tile, and then I have 15 x's and 15 x's. So if I was just going to create like a regular box for this, I know I've got my x squared here. I'm going to break this up to 15 and 15. And then I say, okay, well, if I break that up, 15 times 15, I would need to multiply that, and that would give me 225. Okay, and so then my pieces along the edge would be x plus 15 and x plus 15. So this completing the square would add the 225 here, and then writing it as a perfect square is, remember, just half of this middle term, that x plus 15 in parentheses squared. So now, why we do this is because when we want to take an equation that is in standard form, currently this is in standard form, but we want to convert it to vertex. Because remember, when it's in vertex form, it's a lot easier to do things with. So vertex form is the a x minus h in parentheses squared plus k. Okay. So now looking at this equation here, your first step is we want to essentially, on this right side of the equation, we want to complete the square. We want to create a perfect square. If you notice here, this is what we're trying to get on that right side of the equation. Okay, so what that means is we need to take this 46, we're going to move it to the other side first. Okay, so if I'm going to move it to the other side, I'm going to subtract it on both sides. So I've got y minus 46. I'm going to leave a space. And then I've got equals x squared minus 12x. Okay. So again, we're trying to figure out, well, what number goes here to complete the square? Okay. So if we want to see a visual of this, we've got our x squared. Half of 12, remember, b over 2, half of 12 is negative 6. So I'd have a negative 6 and I'd have a negative 6 here as well. Okay. And then I would take that negative 6 value, I would square it, so that would be 36. So this is kind of the visual for it. The work for it would be b over 2 squared, which is actually negative 12 over 2 squared, which is negative 6 squared, which is 36. So what I'm adding to both sides here is a 36. I'm going to put a plus 36 here. I'm going to put a plus 36 here. And then we go ahead and write, we're going to put the right side in our perfect square format. So this side's always going to go to a perfect square format, and it's going to be x, and it's whatever half of b is, which is -6. And that's because if you imagine this box here, we've got x minus 6 and x minus 6. So really that's just x minus 6 in parentheses squared. Okay. And then on the right side, or the left side rather, we combine like terms. It's y minus 10 if we combine -46 and +36. And then last step to getting this into vertex form is to move the 10 to the other side. So we'll add 10 to both sides. So this will be y equals x minus 6 in parentheses squared plus